This is news analysis coming to you live on Politics and Business Television Abuja. Good afternoon and many thanks for joining us. I am Omike Joseph Matthew. The headlines. APC sweeps 5 FCT councils as PDP heads to courts over poll outcome. National Assembly unveils tougher Electoral Act 2026 amid opposition backlash. Yakubu Gowon University expels 28 students, withdraws 15 certificates over misconduct. And on the foreign scene, drones disrupt 50 Vietnam flights during Lunar New Year. Details of these stories and more will come after this short break. Please do stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. And now the news in detail. The All Progressives Congress APC has emerged dominant in the Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections, winning 5 of the 6 chairmanship seats contested. Results released by the Independent National Electoral Commission on Sunday showed that the APC secured victories in Abuja Municipal Area Council Amak, Abaji, Buari, Kwali, and Kuje, while the People's Democratic Party clinched the lone remaining seats in Gwagwalada. The elections, which covered 6 chairmanship and 62 councillorship positions across the FCT 6 area councils, also coincided with by-elections in Rivers and Kano State. According to the electoral body, polls were conducted in Ahuda, East 2 and Kana 2 state constituencies in Rivers State, as well as Kano Municipal and Ogungo constituencies in Kano State. President Bola Tinubu congratulated the winners of the FCT polls and the by-elections in Kano and Rivers. In a statement issued by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the president commended the conduct of the elections. However, the PDP has rejected the outcome of the FCT council polls and announced the inauguration of a special legal team to challenge the results. The exercise, though successfully concluded, was reportedly characterized by widespread voter apathy and allegations of vote buying. Meanwhile, the National Assembly has unveiled sweeping reforms in the newly enacted Electoral Act 2026, introducing stricter accountability measures and financial safeguards for Nigeria's electoral system ahead of the 2027 general elections. Among the key provisions is a 2-year jail term for any resident electoral commissioner who withholds vital electoral documents, as well as the creation of a dedicated fund for the guarantee of the financial autonomy of the Independent National Electoral Commission. The reforms were highlighted in Abuja by Senate leader Opeyemi Bamidele, who described the amendments as the outcome of the 2 years of legislative consultations. However, the reforms have drawn criticism from opposition parties who argue that certain provisions relating to party primaries, campaign financing, and election timelines may tilt the political landscape in favor of the ruling All Progressives Congress. The pushback comes amid growing political tension, with opposition figures insisting that aspects of the new law could weaken competition ahead of the 2027 polls. In response, the presidency and the APC have defended the amendments as necessary steps to deepen democracy and strengthen electoral integrity. Bamidele maintained that the process involved broad consultations with stakeholders, including civil society groups, development partners, and electoral officials, and said the new legal framework is designed to enhance institutional independence, improve transparency in election management, expand technological integration, and reinforce accountability in Nigeria's electoral system. To education matters now, the Senate of the Yakubu Gowon University, formerly known as the University of Abuja, has approved the expulsion of 28 students over various disciplinary offenses. The decision was announced in a statement issued in Abuja by the Acting Director of Information and University Relations, Dr. Habib Yakub. According to him, the expulsions were ratified at the Senate's regular meeting after considering the report and recommendation of the Students' Disciplinary Committee. Yakub explained that the affected students were found guilty of offenses including threats to life and assault, examination malpractices, conspiracy, burglary, theft, court-related activities, possession and use of hard drugs, and falsification of O-level results uploaded on the university's admission portal. Some were also sanctioned for failing to appear before the disciplinary committee despite repeated invitations. In addition, the Senate approved the withdrawal of certificate of 15 former students who ignored multiple summons, while 9 students were exonerated and 33 others received warning for infractions such as conspiracy, wholesale racketeering, and fighting. Reacting to the development, the Vice Chancellor and Chairman of the Senate, Hakeem Fahemi, reaffirmed the university's commitment to maintaining a safe and conducive learning environment. He stressed that the institution would continue to enforce its rules without compromise, commended the SDC for its diligent work, and so the Joint Task Force Northeast, the offensive targeted insurgent strongholds in Lamushiri village in Gujba local government area of Yobe State, as well as the forward operating base in Lamikara and Kukawa in Borno State. The military said 15 terrorists in Gujba, while 14 others were killed in Kukawa following a multi-prolonged assault. One soldier was killed in action and some equipment was destroyed, but troops recovered several weapons, including 13 AK-47 rifles and communication devices. In a statement, the media information officer of the task force, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, said the troops demonstrated clear combat superiority, working in synergy with the civilian joint task force to outflank insurgents and cut off escape routes. He added that follow-up operations were ongoing to further degrade the terrorist operational capacity across the Northeast theater. Meanwhile, the federal government has stated that many of those behind recent attacks in Nigeria are foreign nationals who infiltrated the country through porous borders. Speaking at the first plenary of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria in Abuja, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, said intelligence reports indicate that several suspects arrested in connection with violence were not Nigerians, while acknowledging that extremist groups like Boko Haram originated locally. He maintained that many fighters currently operating in forest and rural communities are from outside the country, adding that Nigeria's designation as a country of particular concern has strengthened international collaboration, particularly with the United States. You're still watching news analysis right here on Politics and Business Television Abuja. Still to come, NDLEA foils cocaine and opioid smuggling attempts in Kano and Lagos. Details of this and more after the break. Do stay with us. You're welcome back to the news. And now the rest of the stories. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have foiled unusual attempts by 2 suspected drug traffickers to smuggle cocaine and opioid in Kano and Lagos states. According to a statement issued in Abuja by the agency's Director of Media and Advocacy, to the refinery complex in Lekki, Lagos. He stated that the refinery will soon be listed on the Nigerian stock market allowing ordinary Nigerians to participate in the ownership of one of Africa's largest industrial projects. Dangote also emphasized that shareholders would change earnings. He noted that the NNPCL currently holds a 7.25% equity stake in the refinery on behalf of the Nigerian government, further highlighting the government's involvement in the landmark project and reinforcing public participation in the nation's energy sector. And now to the foreign scene. Unauthorized drones disrupted more than 50 flights at Vietnam's Da Nang International Airport during the busy Lunar New Year holiday. Vietnam's Da Nang International Airport during the busy Lunar New Year holiday, a state media said on Monday. Two separate incidents last week saw flights delayed or forced into holding patterns before landing when authorities detected drones flying dangerously close to aircraft, the Tan Ninh newspaper reported. It was not clear who was operating the drones or how close they came to the aircraft. However, a total of 54 flights were delayed because of the drone incursions, Tan Ninh said, citing airport authorities. Vietnam bans the private use of unmanned aerial vehicles and high-intensity lighting around airports. Da Nang is Vietnam's main aviation hub for 8 central regions, handling more than 300 flights per day during the peak holiday season, according to the local newspaper. And now to the world of sports. Let's now join my colleague.
Hello and welcome to P&B Sport News Update on Abel Sunday. It was a weekend of high drama across Europe as the title race in England and Spain took major turns. In the Premier League, Arsenal made a massive statement in the North London derby. They thrashed Tottenham 4-1 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with Victor Gyökeres and Eberechi Eze both binding brace. That result moved the Gunners 5 points clear at the top. Manchester City kept up the pressure with a 2-1 win over Newcastle, but Liverpool needed a 97th minute goal from Alexis Mac Allister to snatch a 1-0 win at Nottingham Forest. Meanwhile, Chelsea and Aston Villa both dropped points in 1-1 draw against Burnley and Leeds United respectively. Over in Spain, there is a new leader. Barcelona reclaimed top spot in La Liga with a clinical 3-0 victory over Levante at the Nou Camp, thanks to goal from McManley, Frankie de Jong, and a late screamer from Fermin Lopez. They punched on a rare slip up from Real Madrid, who fell 2-1 away at Osasuna on Saturday night. Atletico Madrid kept massive in the hunt with a wide 4-2 win over Espanyol, featuring another goal from the informed Ademola Lookman. That's your P&B Sport News Update. I'm Abel Sunday.
All right, so welcome back. Yes, Nigeria's food sector is facing a staggering challenge. Last year alone, the country lost up to 5 trillion naira to post-harvest inefficiencies with highly perishable items like tomatoes, dairy, meats, and fish bearing the brunt of the waste, according to the Organization for Technology Advancement of Cold Chain in West Africa. Speaking in Lagos, the group's president, Alexander Isong, revealed that poor cold storage systems, weak logistics, and inadequate refrigerated transport led to an estimated 30 to 40 million metric tons of food lost across major agricultural value chains in 2025. So today, we take a closer look at what these losses mean for the economy, food security, and everyday Nigerians. And joining me this lovely afternoon to discuss this topic, food waste crisis, Nigeria's records 5 trillion naira post-harvest losses, is Abdul Kadir Ibrahim Gaya. He is, of course, the national president, National Association of Sorghum Producers, Processors, and Marketers of Nigeria, simply known as NASPAM. Good afternoon to you, and thanks for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right. The figure that this report announced is a staggering one. Well, how did you receive this report? Let's begin with that, sir.
Okay. Since the beginning of this year, in our capacity as leadership of farmers, we made mention when private sector economy is being had in such effects, it didn't augur well to the economy of the nation, because these are the drivers of the economy. Now their businesses or their means of livelihood has been dwindled to the barest minimum, and their source of income has been reduced, their purchasing power has been drained. You find out that they cannot even meet up to their daily needs of life, because their funds or resources has been eroded by these massive losses. Let me give you a typical example. I had a friend who had been in the perishable commodity production, not even business. He's in the production cycle. So we were discussing. He's telling me that, look, there's a problem. I said, what is the problem? He said, I send my wife to the farm to go and harvest. Usually we have buyers because we are dealing with perishable. So we harvest very early in the morning and sell it to the buyers so that they take it to market. But upon reaching, they said they are buying a bag of that commodity at the cost of 1,000 naira.
Wow.
He said the cost of empty bag is 1,500.
Just the empty bag?
Just the empty bag, excluding the cost of harvesting. So if the cost of the produce plus harvesting and baggaging is 1,000 naira, why should you harvest?
Wow.
Why should you harvest? So you have to allow it to rot in the farm. And that's a loss, because inputs and labor components have been put into that production cycle, which you cannot recover. So how do you go about salvaging these losses? And not only perishable goods, due to unstable electricity, dairy and beef
are actually suffering.
Highly affected. One, there is low purchasing power from the people. They cannot feed the way they so wish. So if you are buying at least 5 to 10 kilos of beef or dairy products every day, your purchasing power cannot buy. And the suppliers will supply the usual amount they used to supply. If there is a glut, they have to reduce into refrigerating. So even if you refrigerate, there is no electricity. So you are not sure of having your products in 100% condition the following morning, that it will be marketable.
All right. So how does Nigeria's post-harvest loss compare with other countries in the region, the West African region, for instance?
You can see, number one, in some African countries, there is this stability of electricity, and the government providing succor to the farmers as backup in case of losses like this. What am I saying? Like in the grain business now, in some countries, if there is excess or if farmers harvested, there is what we call Federal Reserve. I know we used to have it in Nigeria, but I don't know whether it's operational or not. We have Federal Reserve. They mop up the excess from farmers and put it in this silo to be resell to farmers, to consumers on a later date. And like for dairy products and beef and perishable goods, unless and of course you have stable electricity.
Okay.
In Nigeria, the electricity supply has been epileptic for some time. Even yesterday, one of my friend has been teasing me. He said in his areas there's a light out for like 6 or 7 times just in the span of 10 to 11 hours. So I think 5 trillion naira is such a huge investment that the government should turn a blind eye to, because
should not
turn a blind eye to. Because if only the government will invest 5 trillion naira in the energy sector of Nigeria, we will have stable electricity.
Okay, so that's like one of the measures, right?
One of the measures.
So and what other measures?
And secondly, just like I said, that the government should come in and with a financial module that will ameliorate the suffering of these farmers. As I can tell you categorically, that most of these producers are subsistence producers. They produce on a small scale, not on large scale. They are not commercial producers. So they don't have insurance, they don't have lending capacity, they use their own resources. So the moment there are issues or there are losses like this, you wipe out completely.
They cripple them financially too.
Completely, you have no backup plan. So the government should introduce a module how they can come to the aid of these farmers, maybe through grants, through subsidies, or some form of non-interest loan that will cushion the suffering of these farmers. Because if it continues like this, I'm telling you, there will be no production. And if there is no production, no food in the country, everybody will go hungry. Let me delve a little bit. Most of these issues of insecurity that you are saying, I can beat my chest and tell you, Nigerians are honest and peace-loving people. 80% of these issues of kidnapping, insecurities, and what have you, is as a result of hunger.
Yeah.
Because I know Nigerians, most Nigerians, if they can afford 3 square meals in a day, they have no business venturing into such.
Even 2 square meals, something.
Okay, let's say 1. They have no business venturing into criminal and criminalities. But for the remaining 20%, you know, there are some people that even if you feed them with golden spoon, they have made up their mind
to be criminals,
to become criminals. So this one, the government can take care of them easily. But for the remaining 80%, it's hunger that is pushing it. Because if you can see the food soldiers, I don't talk about the commander, the food soldiers, if you can see, they look wretched, they look haggard, they look haggard and hungry. This one, if they can feed themselves, why should I venture into a business that I know it will end my life within the...
All right. Yes. So as we end the program, personally, have you been affected by this post-harvest, situation that we are discussing?
2 of my farms, I couldn't even harvest them.
And it's too much for you to discuss. Storage system,
transportation, and storage system. You know, when you are giving analysis, you should try to be fair and criticize positively. Even here in the capital city, in the morning, if you see the way they transport banana, vegetables, tomatoes, and what have you, it's in such a way that even it's not fit for animal consumption. So from there, is losing its value and its quantity. So for you that want vegetables, greens for your jollof rice or for your white rice and stew, you went to market, you want to buy cabbage, you see a cabbage that has already been infested with smoke from the vehicle they use in transporting, or is poorly handled, you will not be interested in buying.
Yeah.
And these items, once you bring them to the market,